So first of all, good morning to all of you. Yeah. So today we will look at this optional public administration. What is the syllabus? What are the books to be read? And how we are going to proceed with this optional public administration. Before that, let me briefly tell you about the Civil Services examination. I hope most of you know about these things, but let me tell you for those who are first timers here. UPSC normally conducts this examination every year, and the minimum qualification is graduation. And this examination is conducted in 3 different phases. The first one is the prelims exam, the next one is the mains, and the last one is the interview. As UPSC says, preliminary examination is only qualifying in nature. As we will study in our public administration also, we say that the objective of this prelims is to remove non-serious candidates from the examination process, to eliminate non-serious candidates. So whatever the marks you will be getting in the prelims will not be counted in the final selection. Once you clear the prelims, it will end there itself. What are the marks you will get, it will not be counted. And you don't have to top the prelims examination also. You have to clear the prelims examination even with 0.33 marks also, you will clear the prelims and you can get into services. In fact, in the last few years, all those top rankers, they have cleared prelims by maximum 1 mark or 2 marks. So this is about the prelims. In the prelims, earlier there used to be one optional and general studies. In 2011, UPSC made changes to the examination process. They removed the optional from prelims and introduced the CSAT. And again in 2015, they made the CSAT qualifying in nature, so that your selection in prelims depends on only your general studies performance. And it is mostly objective in nature. In fact, entirely objective in nature, the prelims examination, which covers all aspects of general studies, including polity, economy, history, geography, sciences, current affairs, international relations, and so on. And after prelims, you have the main examination, which is descriptive in nature, wherein you are expected to write. And this really tests your knowledge of the whole examination process. Because in prelims, if you mug up some facts, if you mug up some articles, if you mug up some current events, there is a possibility of you clearing the prelims. Not having any analytical knowledge also will not hamper your preparation for prelims. But when it comes to main examination, it really tests your skills, knowledge, writing and communication skills, and everything else. In the main examination, again in 2013, UPSC made changes. They have included many papers, and they have removed one optional. Before that, there used to be 2 optionals. After 2013, they have removed one optional, and they have included various papers like ethics, integrity, and aptitude. So you have in the mains 5 papers of GS, 4 papers of GS plus 1 general essay. Along with that, you have 2 optionals. Along with that, you have one optional, which has 2 papers. Each paper will have 250 marks. So optional will carry around 250 marks each paper. So overall optional will have 500 marks. And the objective is to reduce this significance of optionals in the main examination. Why? Because most of the students who were clearing this examination, they were clearing because of the optionals. So UPSC wanted to test the skills of the candidates in a uniform manner. Why? Because if you are taking mathematics or physics optional, you can easily score 350, 400 marks. Whereas the person who is scoring 350, 400 marks in optional will not be having any knowledge of general studies. Once he goes to the field and becomes a collector, he does not know anything about administration, a mathematics guy. So that is the reason why UPSC wanted to remove this kind of anomalies in the examination, the whole process. So they have removed one optional. In spite of removing one optional since 2013 onwards, what we can see is that it is again the optional which is the deciding factor for your final selection in the main examination. Why? Because even this year also, if you look at all the top rankers, all of them have scored more than 60%. Sometimes some of them have scored more than 70% also in optionals. Whereas in general studies, your average score is around 40-45%. So as you can see here, at the end of the day, what really matters is your performance in optional. The next question that comes up here is, if that is the case, what kind of optional you should select and how to go about preparing for that optional. Normally, there are two criteria here when you are selecting your optional. First one is if you have done that particular subject in your graduation, you can take that optional because you have studied it, you are familiar with it. Second one is you have to see whether that particular optional will be of help for you in your general studies papers. As I said, in the main examination you have 4 papers of general studies along with one in a general essay, 5 papers. So what are the options you are selecting? Will that be helpful for you in your general studies or not? That is what you should be looking at while selecting the optionals. So from that perspective onwards, we can say that this public administration optional is the one subject which is of immense help to you in your main examination. As we look at the syllabus, I will be telling you what are the topics which are common both in public administration as well as in all your papers of general studies. Because at the end of the day, what you are going to become after getting into services, you are going to become an administrator. All of them are called administrators. These IAS officers, IPS officers, customs, revenue, all of them are called administrators. So obviously, UPSC is looking for your knowledge of administration, both conceptual as well as practical. They are looking to see whether you have in-depth knowledge of administration or not. That is the reason why, if you look at it, in the last 4 years of general studies papers, there is heavy tilt in favor of administration in all the general studies papers. You need very good conceptual knowledge of public administration to tackle those general studies papers. Not only that, 2 years back, UPSC has appointed a committee to suggest reforms in the examination process. And because normally this examination is a highly dynamic one, it should reflect the changes that are taking place in the society, in the polity and economy and everything else. So the committee has suggested that you please remove the other optional also. At present you have one optional, remove that option also and make all papers compulsory. Why? Because as I said, in spite of removing one optional, to make the examination wholly uniform for every student, at the end of the day, it is only the optional that is deciding the services. This year also, if you look at the topper, is from mathematics and he got more than 360 marks in optional. So obviously, with 360 marks, it does not really matter how many marks you are getting in your general studies. And in some other optional, they are getting only 200 marks. You can see 160 marks difference. So this committee, known as a BUS 1 committee, it had suggested that remove all the optionals and have only compulsory papers. Last year, in fact this year UPSC could not bring in the changes because of the elections. Obviously, the committee made so many other recommendations also. They could not bring in the changes because of it has to be a political decision. They could not make the changes. As UPSC says, preliminary examination is only qualifying in nature. As we will study in our public administration also, we say that the objective of this prelims is to remove non-serious candidates from the examination process, to eliminate non-serious candidates. So whatever the marks you will be getting in the prelims will not be counted in the final selection. Once you clear the prelims, it will end there itself. What are the marks you will get, it will not be counted. And you don't have to top the prelims examination also. You have to clear the prelims examination even with 0.33 marks also, you will clear the prelims and you can get into services. In fact, in the last few years, all those top rankers, they have cleared prelims by maximum 1 mark or 2 marks. So this is about the prelims. In the prelims, earlier there used to be one optional and general studies. In 2011, UPSC made changes to the examination process. They removed the optional from prelims and introduced the CSAT. And again in 2015, they made the CSAT qualifying in nature, so that your selection in prelims depends on only your general studies performance. And it is mostly objective in nature. In fact, entirely objective in nature, the prelims examination, which covers all aspects of general studies, including polity, economy, history, geography, sciences, current affairs, international relations, and so on. And after prelims, you have the main examination, which is descriptive in nature, wherein you are expected to write. And this really tests your knowledge of the whole examination process. Because in prelims, if you mug up some facts, if you mug up some articles, if you mug up some current events, there is a possibility of you clearing the prelims. Not having any analytical knowledge also will not hamper your preparation for prelims. But when it comes to main examination, it really tests your skills, knowledge, writing and communication skills, and everything else. In the main examination, again in 2013, UPSC made changes. They have included many papers, and they have removed one optional. Before that, there used to be 2 optionals. After 2013, they have removed one optional, and they have included various papers like ethics, integrity, and aptitude. So you have in the mains 5 papers of GS, 4 papers of GS plus 1 general essay. Along with that, you have 2 optionals. Along with that, you have one optional, which has 2 papers. Each paper will have 250 marks. So optional will carry around 250 marks each paper. So overall optional will have 500 marks. And the objective is to reduce this significance of optionals in the main examination. Why? Because most of the students who were clearing this examination, they were clearing because of the optionals. So UPSC wanted to test the skills of the candidates in a uniform manner. Why? Because if you are taking mathematics or physics optional, you can easily score 350, 400 marks. Whereas the person who is scoring 350, 400 marks in optional will not be having any knowledge of general studies. Once he goes to the field and becomes a collector, he does not know anything about administration, a mathematics guy. So that is the reason why UPSC wanted to remove this kind of anomalies in the examination, the whole process. So they have removed one optional. In spite of removing one optional since 2013 onwards, what we can see is that it is again the optional which is the deciding factor for your final selection in the main examination. Why? Because even this year also, if you look at all the top rankers, all of them have scored more than 60%. So sometimes some of them have scored more than 70% also in optionals. Whereas in general studies, your average score is around 40-45%. So as you can see here, at the end of the day, what really matters is your performance in optional. The next question that comes up here is, if that is the case, what kind of optional you should select, and how to go about preparing for that optional. Normally, there are 2 criteria here when you are selecting your optional. First one is if you have done that particular subject in your graduation, you can take that optional because you have studied it, you are familiar with it. Second one is you have to see whether that particular optional will be of help for you in your general studies papers. As I said, in the main examination you have 4 papers of general studies along with one in a general essay, 5 papers. So what are the options you are selecting? Will that be helpful for you in your general studies or not? That is what you should be looking at while selecting the optionals. So from that perspective onwards, we can say that this public administration optional is the one subject which is of immense help to you in your main examination. As we look at the syllabus, I will be telling you what are the topics which are common both in public administration as well as in all your papers of general studies. Because at the end of the day, what you are going to become after getting into services, you are going to become an administrator. All of them are called administrators. These IAS officers, IPS officers, customs, revenue, all of them are called administrators. So obviously, UPSC is looking for your knowledge of administration, both conceptual as well as practical. They are looking to see whether you have in-depth knowledge of administration or not. That is the reason why, if you look at it, in the last 4 years of general studies papers, there is heavy tilt in favor of administration in all the general studies papers. You need very good conceptual knowledge of public administration to tackle those general studies papers. Not only that, 2 years back, UPSC has appointed a committee to suggest reforms in the examination process. And because normally this examination is a highly dynamic one, it should reflect the changes that are taking place in the society, in the polity and economy and everything else. So the committee has suggested that you please remove the other optional also. At present you have one optional, remove that optional also and make all papers compulsory. Why? Because as I said, in spite of removing one optional, to make the examination wholly uniform for every student, at the end of the day, it is only the optional that is deciding the services. This year also, if you look at the topper, NI is from mathematics, and he got more than 360 marks in optional. So obviously, with 360 marks, it does not really matter how many marks you are getting in your general studies. And in some other optional, they are getting only 200 marks. You can see 160 marks difference. So this committee, known as the BUS 1 committee, it had suggested that remove all the optionals and have only compulsory papers. Last year, in fact this year UPSC could not bring in the changes because of the elections. Obviously, the committee made so many other recommendations also. They could not bring in the changes because of it has to be a political decision. They could not make the changes, and we are hoping that definitely next year onwards they will be making those changes. So what are the changes they have suggested? They have suggested so many changes. Those changes which are relevant for us are, as I said, removing the optional, and most importantly, making public administration a compulsory paper. That is what they said. Why? Because, as I said, at the end of the day, you are going to be administrators. You are not going to be mathematicians. You are not going to be economists. You are not going to be geographers. You are not going to be physicists. You are going to be administrators. So you need the knowledge of administration. So that is the reason why the BUS 1 committee has suggested that make public administration compulsory along with law. Because tomorrow if you are going to be an administrator, you must have knowledge of law, both the civil law as well as criminal law. This is what they have suggested. So, and that is the reason why, even though they have not implemented this suggestion till now, UPSC has already, they could not make the changes, and we are hoping that definitely next year onwards they will be making those changes. So what are the changes they have suggested? They have suggested so many changes. Those changes which are relevant for us are, as I said, removing the optional, and most importantly, making public administration a compulsory paper. That is what they said. Why? Because, as I said, at the end of the day, you are going to be administrators. You are not going to be mathematicians. You are not going to be economists. You are not going to be geographers. You are not going to be physicists. You are going to be administrators. So you need knowledge of administration. So that is the reason why the Baswan committee has suggested that make public administration compulsory along with law. Because tomorrow if you are going to be an administrator, you must have knowledge of law, both the civil law as well as criminal law. This is what they have suggested. So, and that is the reason why, even though they have not implemented this suggestion till now, UPSC has already taken steps in this direction. How? Even if you look at this year's general studies papers also, in all the 4 papers, you can see so much of a tilt towards administration. Especially if you look at this year's ethics paper, in the ethics paper section A and case studies, almost half of them were asked as questions in our public administration paper. The same question that were asked in public administration in previous years were repeated as questions in your ethics paper. As I said, as we proceed, we will be looking at all those things also. So that is the reason why I don't have to overemphasize the importance of public administration optional in your whole preparation, especially for the entire main examination. So on the basis of this, let us proceed and look at what is the syllabus and how we are going to study the whole syllabus in the next 3.5 months or so. How many of you are writing for this year? Means you will be writing. Okay. So otherwise rest of them will be writing for next year only. Right. So let us see the syllabus and how we are going to look at it. As I said, every optional has 2 papers, paper 1 and 2. In public administration also we have this paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 1 is mostly the theoretical part, whereas paper 2 Indian administration, dynamic 1. So let us look at the syllabus in an in-depth manner. First we will see the syllabus, then we will look at what are the study material, and then rest of other things. It starts with introduction topic. It says meaning, scope and significance of public administration, Wilson's vision of a public administration, evolution of the discipline and its present status, new public administration, public choice approach, challenges of liberalization, privatization and globalization, good governance, concept and applications, new public management. This is what it says. So whenever you are studying a new subject, obviously it should start from the basics. That is what also syllabus talks about. The first topic of our syllabus introduces us to the entire subject. For example, as you look at it, meaning, what is public administration? We will be studying about public administration for the next 3.5 months. We should know what is this public administration? What exactly is public administration? If there is something called public administration, there must be something else called private administration also. What is this private administration? Before that, we should know what is administration. As I said, tomorrow all of you are going to be administrators. You should know what is administration in the first place before discussing about rest of the aspects of administration. That is what this first topic talks about. Meaning, scope. What is the scope? What are the boundaries of the discipline of public administration? Every academic discipline has its own boundaries. For example, mathematics, you know what is mathematics, what really constitutes mathematics. You know about sociology, you know about anthropology, you know about physics, chemistry. Like this, what are the boundaries of public administration? to what extent we say that this is a part of public administration. That is what is called the scope of the discipline. Then significance of public administration. Here we are talking about the fact that why should we study public administration? What is the significance of public administration? Significance of public administration as a profession. Can't we live without administration? What happens when there is no administration? Why it is very, very important? This is what we will be studying as part of this first line of our syllabus. Then we talk about the evaluation of the discipline of public administration. How public administration as an academic discipline evolved over a period of time. When we talk about academic disciplines, you talk about political science, anthropology, sociology, as I said that, like that public administration also had come up due to excellent work done by some of its thinkers. And we start that with Woodrow Wilson, Wilson's vision of a public administration. Woodrow Wilson is called the father of the discipline of public administration. What is his contribution? Why is he called the father of public administration? Wilson, who went on to become the President of the United States of America. He was the President of the United States of America during the First World War. Before that, he had written something about public administration, for which he was called the father of public administration. That is what we will study. After studying Wilson's public administration, then we will look at the contribution of other thinkers in a chronological manner. From Wilson, we will move on to other thinkers. Who are the thinkers that we will be moving on? Then we will come to the next chapter, administrative thought. After studying Wilson, we will come to the next chapter, administrative thought. Here, we will be starting with scientific management and scientific management movement. After Wilson, we say that it was a scientific management theory of Frederick Taylor, which was of extreme importance within our discipline of public administration. So we will look at the contribution of Taylor, his scientific management theory and his scientific management movement. What happened with that theory? And what did he has to say about his scientific management theory? So when we talk about all these things, you see, these thinkers in almost all academic disciplines, those people who have done research within that particular discipline and had come out with theories. You say that in economics, you have classical theories, neoclassical theories, modern theories. Similarly, in sociology, in philosophy, in psychology, you have all these thinkers contributing to the discipline, and in the process enriching the discipline, expanding the scope of the discipline. So as part of this, in public administration also, we have so many thinkers who have contributed to the discipline of public administration with their theories. So what we shall be doing is that we will be studying all those thinkers, starting from Woodrow Wilson. After that, as I said, we will be studying about this scientific management theory and scientific management movement of Frederick Taylor, one of the most important thinkers. And what you must remember here is that we will be studying so many of those thinkers. So many of them are there. And you will be thinking that, how can we remember, understand, analyze all those thinkers? You don't have to worry at all. Why? Because all these thinkers, their ideas are basic. They took basic ideas and they called them as theories. For example, if you look at scientific management theory, what Taylor says is that if you want to maximize efficiency of your organization, what you have to do is that you have to manage the works, the things in your organization in a scientific manner. That is what is called scientific management theory. So all these thinkers, they had come out with very basic ideas. What we will be doing is that we will try to understand their ideas in a as simple manner as possible, so that it becomes easier for us to remember all of them also. That is what we shall be doing. So after scientific management theory, then we will go to classical theory, Max Weber's bureaucratic model. Max Weber's bureaucratic model. After scientific management theory, we will be going to Max Weber's bureaucratic model. This Max Weber's bureaucratic theory of organization is the most important theory in our public administration. Max Weber. And you must remember that this Max Weber's bureaucratic theory is the essence of your entire ethics paper. If I have to describe your entire ethics, integrity, aptitude paper in one single line, it is Max Weber's bureaucratic theory of organization. Why people are not getting good marks in ethics paper? Simply because they don't have knowledge of public administration. Every year in your ethics paper, whether it is case studies or in section A, half the questions are directly related to Max Weber's bureaucratic theory. 2 years back, they directly asked Max Weber's bureaucratic theory of organization in your ethics paper. As I said, if you understand Weber, you will be understanding the whole of public administration as well as ethics. That is the reason why we will be spending a lot of time on Weber's bureaucratic theory of organization, because all other theories that we will be studying in public administration are directly related to Weber. And again, as I said, your entire governance of a polity governance paper, paper 2 of general studies, is again about Weber's bureaucratic theory of organization. That is the reason why, as I keep on saying, this is the most important theory, as well as far as our entire syllabus is concerned. Then after studying about Max Weber's theory of bureaucracy, we look at its criticism and post-Weberian developments. Post-Weberian developments means all those theories that had come up after Max Weber gave his bureaucratic theory of organization. What are the theories that had come up? So as part of these post-Weberian developments, we will go back to the first topic of our syllabus. There you can see new public administration, NPA. Again, remember, this NPA is very, very important from your ethics paper point of view. In fact, again, as I said, this NPA is the new public administration, is the heart and soul of your ethics paper, because these NPA thinkers are the ones who for the first time talked about the values in administration, which UPSC included in your ethics paper. So that is the reason why this NPA, new public administration, is very important. Again, to understand NPA better, you should know Max Weber's bureaucratic theory of organization. After NPA, you have public choice approach, public choice theory. This public choice theory again is directly and indirectly related to other papers of your general studies. Public choice approach. Then challenges of liberalization, privatization and globalization. So this liberalization, privatization, globalization, if you look at this, again, if I have to describe the entire essence of your general studies, all the 4 papers, it is about this liberalization, privatization and globalization. After 1991, when India faced a severe economic crisis, we were forced to adopt this liberalization, privatization and globalization after 1991. So what happened to India after liberalization, privatization, globalization? Please remember, this topic is there in all the 4 papers of your general studies. Here it is there. For example, impact of globalization on culture and society, which is there in your General Studies Paper 1, Social Issues. Impact of liberalization on governance, which is a very, very important part of your polity governance paper. And of course, your entire economy is about this liberalization, privatization and globalization, your entire Indian economy. And again in your ethics paper, how globalization has impacted our society's values, traditions, customs and cultures. So we will be looking at, from our public administration point of view, we will be looking at how this liberalization and globalization had impacted administration in India. The question was asked last year in your polity governance paper, impact of globalization on administration. Every year the questions will be asked, whether it is polity governance or ethics or public administration. As I said, at the end of the day, it is all about this globalization, because it has both positive as well as the negative consequences. As an administrator, you should know what is this liberalization, privatization, globalization, and how it is impacting our society, culture, traditions, administration, economy, polity and everything else. Again, we will be spending a lot of time on these things. Then good governance, concept and application. Again, this good governance is perhaps the most important term that is being used in again all our papers of general studies. This good governance was asked in your ethics paper directly. What is good governance? And it was asked in your polity governance paper. What are the features of good governance? The same questions will be asked whether it is ethics or polity governance or public administration. It is all about the concepts. So when we are studying all these topics, you must always remember that we are not only studying public administration, we are covering a good portion of your general studies syllabus also. And more importantly, since we are doing it from a public administration perspective, we will be doing it in a more in-depth manner, which is necessary for your general studies. That is the reason why those who get good marks in public administration invariably score well in all papers of general studies. As I keep on saying, it is at the end of the day, it is all about administration. UPSC would like to see, as a candidate preparing for civil service examination, whether you have this kind of conceptual clarity about administration. So after doing good governance, concepts and applications, we will go to the next topic, that is new public management, NPM. You can see that one, new public management. Again, this NPM, interestingly, it is part of management, as the name itself indicates, part of management and economics. So you will be writing about this NPM in your Indian economy also. For example, you take the case of reforms in the banking system. You will be writing about NPM. You are talking about reforming the public sector enterprise. Again, you will be writing about new public management. What is this new public management? Where can we use this new public management? And mostly, what are the applications of this new public management? That is what we will be focusing on. Next, after doing all these things, we will come back to the theory part again. We have seen post-Weberian developments. In fact, all of them are post-Weberian developments till NPM, new public management. Then we will come back to the theory part, dynamic administration, Mary Parker Foley. Mary Parker Foley, an American thinker, she had come out with her ideas regarding how organizations should be functioning. What are her ideas? That is what we will be studying as part of dynamic. One of the most popular thinkers of public administration, extremely important from our examination point of view. in our examination point of view. And for your information, 2-3 of our ideas were asked as topics in your general essay paper 2 years back. Her statements were given as essay topics. Very, very important thing. They picked up the statement of Mary Parker Foley and it was simply given as a topic for essay. Very important thinker. I don't have to again stress the importance of this particular thinker. She is very important for your general essay as well as ethics paper. How, as when we discuss, I will try to correlate MP Foley to all these topics. Next, you talk about human relations school, Elton Mayo and others. So you are basically talking about Elton Mayo, again a thinker from United States of America. What his ideas regarding organizations, human relations school. As the name itself indicates, human relations. If you want to maximize the efficiency of organizations, Elton Mayo would say that you must give importance to human beings. Give importance to human relations. That is what is called human relations theory. Very simple. For this, they have conducted some experiments and they came out with these theories. It is basically, it is about observing what is there in front of you. On the basis of your observations, on the basis of your experiments, you will come out with your theories. And that is what all these thinkers have done. Human relations theory. Then after Elton Mayo, you will be looking at functions of the executive, Chester Bernard. This is known as a behavioral theory of organization, Chester Bernard, behavioral theory of organization. Again, it is very simple. Again, as we have discussed with Elton Mayo, if you want to maximize efficiency of organizations, you must give importance to human beings and you must also give importance to their behavior. What is the difference between human beings and machines? What is the difference? What is the difference between human beings and machines? With artificial intelligence, machines are also thinking. They are thinking far better than human beings. Right? Then what is the difference? Emotions. Yes, emotions. Emotions, sentiments, feelings. That is the difference. As human beings, we have emotions, we have feelings, we have sentiments as human beings. Now, which is not there for machines. Machines can think and they can think far better than us. If you look at it nowadays, we are replacing human intelligence with artificial intelligence everywhere else. If you happen to see, nowadays we are living in this technological societies where machines are doing each and everything. But one thing they don't have is emotions. At the end of the day, organizations consist of human beings. You have to give importance to their emotions, feelings, sentiments. Their behavior will impact the functioning of organizations. That is what Chester Bernard's theory of organization, what we call it as a behavioral theory, functions of the executive. Next, after Chester Bernard, we will be looking at Herbert Simon's decision making theory. Herbert Simon. Again, a very, very important thinker, Herbert Simon. His decision making theory. He is basically an economist. He had come out with his decision making theory in economics, for which he got a Nobel Prize in economics. Nobel Prize in economics. Later he studied public administration and his decision making theory had become part of public administration. Again, very simple. What is this theory says? If you want to maximize the efficiency of your organizations, you must take decisions in a rational manner. Very simple thing, rational decision making theory. Because everything depends on the decisions you have taken. At the end of the day, you have to take right kind of decisions. Now, then only you can achieve your objectives. Then only you can maximize efficiency of organizations. And how to take those decisions is a part of this decision making theory of Herbert Simon, a very, very important thinker. After Herbert Simon's decision making theory, we will move on to the next set of thinkers, participative management. This concept of participative management, it was given by three major thinkers: Rensis Likert, Chris Argyris, Douglas McGregor. So all of them talked about the same concept, participative management. But they had explained this participative management from different perspective. They talked about the same concept, but they had explained from different perspectives. Each one had their own perspective regarding what is participative management. Otherwise, what do you mean by simple? What is the simple meaning of a participative management? What is participative management? Participative management, that means wherein you are giving opportunities for everyone in the organization to participate in managing the activities of organization. Very simple. In a simple English, you are giving opportunities for people to participate in managing the activities of organization. That is what we call participative management. Very simple. Again, this participative management is very, very important. From your polity governance paper as well as ethics paper. Whatever the ideas of these thinkers, you will be writing in those papers without quoting the names of these thinkers. Very, very important. Now, from participative management, you go on to the next level. You talk about participative democracy. Participative democracy. We say that problem with India is that we have a representative democracy but not a participatory democracy. How to transform this representative democracy into participatory democracy is the essence of our entire polity governance paper. How to transform. For example, if you look at democracy in India, to what extent people's participation is there in our democracy? To what extent? Yes, our participation ends the moment we vote in elections. For the next 5 years, do we have any kind of authority, right, power to participate? No. Our participation ends the moment we vote in elections. So how to transform this representative democracy into participatory democracy? That is what we will be studying as part of Indian administration, and that is also the essence of your ethics paper, as I keep on saying. Because once you get into services tomorrow as an administrator, your most important objective is to ensure participatory democracy. For that, you should know what is participatory democracy. You must give opportunities for people to take decisions. You must give powers to the people to implement those decisions. You must also ensure that people have the right to review the decisions. That is what is participatory management. That is, yes. We will see. We will see all those things. Which country is more participatory in nature. That we will see. Okay. For example, you take the case of United Kingdom. What did United Kingdom do? Whether they wanted to be part of European Union or not. What did they do? referendum. That is what is participated amount. Okay. So, but is it possible for that kind of referendum in a country like India? No, it is not possible. So, what are the other solutions? That is the essence of our entire paper. What are the other solutions? So, this is what we will be discussing as part of this series. After completing this chapter, we will go to the next important topic in our syllabus, that is comparative public administration, the last topic in your first page, comparative public administration. Historical and sociological factors affecting administrative systems, administration and politics in different countries, status of comparative public administration, ecology and administration, Rixian models and their critique. If I have to point out one important thing in the whole syllabus of our public administration, apart from Max Weber, it has to be Fredericks. And a good thing about Fredericks is that he is the most important thinker for all our 4 papers of general studies. You may not be studying him in your general studies papers, but at the end of the day, you can write good answers in your general studies only when you have knowledge of Fredericks. Whether it is polity governance or ethics or disaster management or internal security or social issues, you name it, the most important thinker is Fredericks. Why? Because he is one thinker who had conducted experiments in India. We will be studying so many, we talked about so many administrative thinkers here, but most of them have conducted their experiments in America or in Europe. Obviously, their theories do not reflect the conditions in our country. Whereas this person Fredericks, he came to India, he conducted experiments, and on the basis of those experiments he had come out with his comparative public administration theory. That is the reason why, as I say, he is the most important thinker from our public administration perspective. Not only public administration, as I said, the entire general studies perspective. When we discuss Ricks, you will come to know where to use, how to use his ideas in our general studies papers, especially polity governance and ethics. Next, after this chapter, we will go to the next chapter, that is development dynamics. Please remember, this chapter, development dynamics, again is there in all your 4 papers of general studies. Very, very important topic. It is there in all your 4 papers of general studies. Concept of development, changing profile of development administration, anti-development thesis, bureaucracy in development, strong state versus market debate, impact of liberalization on administration in developing countries, women and development, the self-help group movement. Women and development, the self-help group movement is there in your polity governance paper. It is there in your social issues paper 1, women and development. And this women and development was asked for essay also 2 years back. Very, very important, women and development. And then impact of liberalization on administration, as I said, it is there in your polity governance, it is there in your ethics, it is there in your economy also. And then state versus market, this is the essence of your entire economy paper. What is the role of the state vis-a-vis that of markets in the process of development? Very, very important topic. And bureaucracy and development. Bureaucracy and development, it is the same topic is there in your polity governance paper. Bureaucracy and development. Changing profile of development administration. This is there in your economy. How India has changed over a period of time in the last 7 decades. Changing profile of development administration. And before that, what is development? The concept of development. As I said, all these topics are there in your general studies papers. What you have to do is that you have to use the theoretical knowledge which you have gained in public administration in your general studies papers. So, after this topic, then we will go to the next important topic, that is public policy. Same only. The third topic, public policy. Models of policy making and their critique, process of conceptualization, planning, implementation, monitoring, evaluation and review and their limitations, state theories and public policy formulation. Same topic is there in your polity governance paper. Policy formulation, implementation, models, everything is there in your polity governance paper. It is part of what we call governance in your polity governance paper. Obviously, we will be studying much more in-depth manner in our public administration, so that it becomes easier for you to write far better answers than others in your general studies papers, public policies. And then whatever the questions that UPSC is giving in our polity governance paper, in our public administration paper here, the same questions are exactly repeated in your ethics paper. This year, 2 questions which UPSC asked from public policy chapter in the last 4 or 5 years were exactly repeated in your ethics paper. Same, exactly repeated. The exact statement was repeated in ethics paper, including we say spelling mistakes to maintain consistency. That is what you must remember, the importance of these topics in your ethics paper. Of all the papers, ethics paper, they have repeated the same questions. The same question. The question was about you are constructing a dam. When you are constructing a dam, what are the factors you will take into consideration? When you are constructing a dam, what are the factors you will take into consideration while taking a decision related to constructing a dam? This question was asked 3 years back in our public administration paper 1, for around 20 marks. This year the same question was repeated in your ethics paper. Again, I keep on saying why people are not scoring good marks in ethics, because they don't have a practical knowledge of public administration. So this is why we will be spending a lot of time on this public policy chapter. Very, very important. Next, after public policy, we will come back to page 1. We will look at this topic, administrative behavior. You can see that one. Administrative behavior. Process and techniques of decision making, communication, moral, motivation theories, content, process and contemporary, theories of leadership, traditional and modern. Basically, earlier we talked about behavior, Chester Bernard behavior. We say that human behavior is influenced by 4 important factors: the leadership in the organization, communication, decision making and motivation. That is the reason why we have expanded the concept of behavior, human behavior, into these 4 different components. One is motivation, second one is decision making, third one is leadership, and fourth one is communication. And for all these 4 concepts, you have different thinkers giving their opinions about these concepts. So that is the reason why we will be talking about so many of those thinkers. Again, remember, all of them are important from your ethics paper point of view, because ethics paper is all about leadership behavior. What kind of leader should be there? Who can be called a successful leader? What are the qualities of a successful leader? We will be talking about all those things. Why communication is important for organizations? how to take decisions within the organization. What really motivates human beings? Human beings. What really motivates people? You know. Again, as I said, all these are closely linked to your ethics paper. When we work, what is the factor that really motivates us to work? What are we looking at? What are we trying to achieve? For example, why are you motivated to prepare for civil services examination? What is your motivation? Why? Why do you want to prepare for this examination? Yes? Pardon? Good quality of life. Okay. Anything? To bring changes at the grassroots level. Okay. To get opportunity to work in the field. Tomorrow, the first question they will be asking in your interview is, why do you want to get into services? What will you say? Why do you want to get into services? What is your biggest motivation? That is what we will be studying as part of these motivational theories. Everything, the good thing about public administration is that it deals with what we do in our day-to-day life. We can easily relate it to them. For example, if I were to teach you space technology, it becomes difficult because we don't see that in our day-to-day life. I'll have to create those things in the classroom to make you empathize with what I am saying. Whereas it is not at all difficult with the public administration because it is all about our day-to-day life. What are our motivations? How to improve our leadership skills? How to manage organizations better? This is what we do in our day-to-day life. How to manage our day-to-day life also. That is what is called scientific management. And this is a good thing about public administration because it deals with our day-to-day life. And that is also the reason why it is easy to understand this subject compared to any other options. Why? Because it does not require a huge amount of intelligence. Again, why? Because we can easily empathize with what is there in this subject. So after doing this administrative behavior, we will go to the next topic, that is organizations, theories, systems and contingency, structure and forms, ministries and departments, corporations, companies, boards and commissions, ad hoc and advisory bodies, headquarters and field relationships, regulatory authorities, public-private partnerships. So what you can see here is that from this topic onwards, all other topics are there in the second paper of our public administration, that is Indian administration. So what we will be doing is that we will be combining both these topics and doing them from both paper 1 and paper 2 perspective. The same question can be asked in paper 1 and paper 2. For example, you can see ministries and departments, corporations, companies, boards and commissions, headquarters, field relationships. These topics are there in your union, government and administration in paper 2, the fourth on page 2nd, the last topic. See, you can see ministries and departments. Can you see that one? Last but one line. Ministries and departments, boards and commissions, attached offices, field organizations. So these things are there in both paper 1 and paper 2, and we will be doing them together so that we can write answers well in both paper 1 and paper 2. Similarly, you take the case of accountability and control, the next topic in our public administration, paper 1. After organizations, you can see accountability and control. Concepts of accountability and control: legislative, executive and judicial control over administration, citizen and administration, role of media, interest groups, voluntary organizations, civil society, citizen charters, RTI, social audit. All these topics are there in our Indian administration. All of them are there in your polity governance paper. All of them are there in your ethics paper also. So if you are studying one topic here, for example, citizen charters. Citizen charters is there in your PubAd paper 1. It is there in your Indian administration. It is there in your polity governance paper. It is there in your ethics paper. So when we are reading one topic, for example, this year in your polity governance paper, citizen charters question was asked. What was the question? The same question which they have asked in your PubAd paper 1 3 years back. The same question which they had asked in your Indian administration 2 years back. They have repeated the same question in your polity governance paper this year. And in the coming year, the same question will be repeated in your ethics paper. Same is the case with civil society. Same is the case with RTA, right to information. It is there again in your polity governance paper. It is there in your ethics paper. It is there in our PubAd paper 1 and Indian administration. RTA, again the same questions will be asked. And same is the case with social audit. Social audit is there again in all these papers. So what we must remember is that when we are doing all these topics, you should know that you are covering a very good portion of your general studies paper 2 and paper 4. If you see you go back and see the syllabus of your general studies in polity governance and ethics, the same things will be repeated. As I said, at the end of the day, it is all about administration. That is the reason why UPSC has no option but to ask questions only from these topics. We will be covering, as I said, all these topics, from all these dimensions, whether it is ethics dimension or polity governance or administration dimension, or from theoretical dimensions also. Next, administrative law, meaning, scope and significance, dicey on administrative law, delegated legislation, administrative tribunals. This delegated legislation and administrative tribunals are very important from your polity governance paper. Very, very important. Every year in your polity governance paper, one question will be about these tribunals. Every year in your polity governance paper. Sometimes it can be interstate river water tribunal. Sometimes it can be right tariff authorities. Sometimes it can be bank boards, bureaus. Sometimes it can be Competition Commission of India. You have all these things that are asked in your polity governance paper, which again we will be studying as part of administrative law. Then after this, we will study, as I said, rest of all other topics from both the paper 1 and paper 2 perspective. Take this topic, personal administration. There are 4 topics which are closely related here. One is personal administration. Second one is techniques of administrative improvement. Personal administration, techniques of administrative improvement. And come to Indian administration, on page 3, you have civil services. You can see that one, civil services. And then next to that, administrative reforms since independence. After civil services, you can see administrative reforms since independence. We will be doing all these 4 topics together because all of them are interrelated. Let us see how. If you see in personal administration, it talks about importance of human resource development, recruitment, training, career advancement, position classification, discipline, performance appraisal, promotion, pay and other service conditions, employer-employee relations, grievance redressal mechanism, Code of conduct and administrative ethics. Please remember, these topics are extremely important from your ethics point of view. This year, in your ethics paper, at least 2-3 questions are from only this paper, this topic. The question that was directly asked this year in your ethics paper is the difference between code of conduct and code of ethics, which we shall be studying as part of, again, administration. Very important. And these are all, first we will look at all the concepts, then we will come to the civil services topic. You can see civil services in Indian administration. You can see constitutional position, structure, recruitment, training and capacity building, good governance initiatives, code of conduct and discipline, staff associations, political rights, grievance redressal mechanism, civil services neutrality and civil services activism. And as I said, this is the heart and the soul of your ethics paper. Civil services neutrality, civil services activism, code of conduct, code of ethics, and discipline, political rights. All of them are the heart of your ethics paper. Why? Because at the end of the day, ethics is all about administrative ethics. What kind of ethics should be there for administrators? That is what we shall be studying as part of this topic. As I said, this is the heart and soul of our polity governance as well as ethics papers. These are two topics which we shall be studying. Next, after that we will come to this topic, techniques of administrative improvement in paper 1. Paper 1, the last but one topic, techniques of administrative improvement, organization and methods, work study and work management, e-governance and IT, information technology, management aid tools like network analysis, MIS, PERT and CPM. E-governance and IT, it is part of our polity governance paper. E-governance, every year in polity governance, one question will be asked about e-governance, e-governance and IT. Then after that we will come to this again in paper 3, administrative reforms since independence. Administrative reforms since independence in page 3, administrative reforms since independence. Major concerns, important committees and commissions, reforms in financial management and human resource development, problems of implementation. And again, this is again the heart and the soul of your ethics paper. In ethics paper, they are directly asking, what are the recommendations of second administrative reforms commission? They are directly asking. As I keep on saying, at the end of the day, it is all about administration. So all these reforms we should remember. What are the reforms in recruitment? As I said, the latest committee, Baswan committee, has suggested reforms in recruitment to civil services. What did they say? They said that reduce the age limit to 26 years, reduce the number of attempts to general category to 3 attempts from the present 6 attempts, remove optionals in the mains examination, and include public administration as a compulsory paper. All those things we will be studying as part of reforms. So this is what this topic is all about. So we will be studying these 4 topics together. As I said, all of them are interrelated. And after this, another important topic from our examination point of view is financial administration. The last topic in our paper 1, page 2, financial administration. Here again we will be studying 4 chapters simultaneously in financial administration. First one is monetary and fiscal policies, public borrowings and public debt, budget types and forms, budgetary processes, financial accountability, accounts and audit. And then in paper 2, we will study about public sector undertakings. In page 2 only, the chapter 3, page 2. Public sector undertakings, public sector in modern India, forms of public sector undertakings, problems of autonomy, accountability and control, impact of liberalization and privatization. Then come to the next page, plans and priorities, the first topic, plans and priorities. Machinery of planning, role, composition and functions of the planning commission and NDC, indicative planning, process of plan formulation at the union and state levels, constitutional amendments, and decentralized planning for economic development and social justice. Next chapter is financial management. You can see fifth chapter on page 3, financial management. Budget as a political instrument, parliamentary control of public expenditure, role of finance ministry in monetary and fiscal area, accounting techniques, audit, role of CGA and CAG. These 4 topics we will be studying together. And when we study these topics, there is nothing related to administration. It is a pure Indian economy. We will be studying, we will be covering a major portion of your Indian economy. General Studies paper 3 in these topics. If you look at General Studies paper 3 Indian economy syllabus, it starts with the budgeting. It starts with budgeting. Then it talks about fiscal and monetary policies. Then it talks about planning. Then you have public sector enterprises. So this is purely Indian economy. It has nothing to do with administration. Purely Indian economy. For almost 1 week, we will be mostly discussing Indian economy only when we study these topics. Obviously, the questions will be there in your Indian economy, in your polity governance papers also. For example, 2 years back, they have asked a question about CAG in our Indian administration paper. Comptroller and Auditor General. The same question was repeated in this year's polity governance paper. The same question, UPSC repeated the same question. That is what we say, whatever they ask in our public administration this year will be repeated in General Studies next year. So, what public administration students should study today will have to be studied by General Studies students tomorrow. You are always one up over others. That is what they say about America. What America does today will be done by the rest of the world tomorrow. All major developments are taking place only in America. So that is what we say about in public administration also. Okay, for example, fiscal policies, monetary policies, impact of liberalization. All these things you will be studying in economy. Planning. For example, I will give you one more example. Last year in our Indian administration, there was a question about Niti Aayog. The same question was repeated in your Indian economy paper 3 this year. I am talking about General Studies paper 3. The same question was repeated. So that is what I say, knowledge is always the same. We divide that into different parts. We call it a polity or economy or administration or anything like that. But knowledge is the same. The same question was repeated. Whatever they have asked in our Indian administration 2 years back, the same question was repeated for 20 marks in your Indian economy this year. And more interestingly, the same question was there in your polity governance paper before last year. Nowadays in General Studies, it is the questions are asked in such a manner that in polity they are asking economy, in economy they will be asking polity, in both they will be asking administration. That is what you must remember. Why I am stressing on all these things, because by studying is so less, you are covering vast amount of your syllabus, especially in your General Studies papers. That is the reason why these 4 topics are very, very important. Whether it is monetary and fiscal policies, borrowings and public debt. Public debt was asked 2 years back in your Indian economy. Deficit financing was asked 3 years back in your Indian economy. And then budgets, as I said, budget was asked last year in your Indian economy, gender budgeting, which we study in our different types of budget. We talk about different types of budgets. One of them is gender budgeting, green budgeting, like that, outcome budgets. They will be asking all these questions in your economy and polity governance papers. So this is what these 4 chapters. Then we will come to rest of the topics in our Indian administration. Paper 2. Please remember when we are doing Indian administration, we will be covering the whole of your syllabus of polity governance paper. You don't have to study even a single alphabet for the rest of your polity governance paper, apart from what we will be covering in our Indian administration. That is what you can be sure of. Maybe except a small topics, 1 or 2 small topics. Otherwise, everything will be covering in our Indian administration. It starts with the topic evaluation of Indian administration, Kautilya's Arthashastra, Mughal administration, legacy of British rule in politics and administration, Indianization of public services, revenue administration, district administration, local self-governments. So basically, whenever you talk about Indian administration, you always start with the historical aspects. What kind of administration we had in the past. When we talk about India, we talk about 3 great empires which had left a significant impact on our history. First one is Mauryan administration, Mauryan Empire. You will be studying as part of your ancient history. Second one is the Mughal Empire, and the third one is the British Empire. We will be talking about all of them. So we will be looking into a little bit of history also as part of these topics. We will not go into too much of historical details, but whatever that is required from our public administration point of view, we will be studying with maximum emphasis given to British impact on Indian administration. British impact on Indian administration. And you must remember that here 3 or 4 years back, this British impact on Indian administration was asked for essay, 250 marks, colonial impact on administration. As I said, whatever we do, we will be covering good number of topics in your essay also. Again, as I said, UPSC is moving more towards administrative topics in your essay also. Colonial impact of administration was asked for 250 marks 4 years back. So that is what is called the British impact of administration. We will be looking at all these things. Then after this topic, rest of all the topics are there in your polity governance paper and our Indian administration also. Starting with the philosophical and constitutional framework of government. As part of this, we will be talking about silent features and value premises, constitutionalism, political culture, bureaucracy and democracy, and bureaucracy and development. If I have to describe the entire syllabus of our Indian administration and polity governance paper in one single word, it is constitutionalism. Constitutionalism. Everything can be explained with constitutionalism. That is the reason why UPSC has separately mentioned this. And you must also know that this constitutionalism was repeatedly asked in your prelims also as part of Indian polity. In prelims, 2 years back, the question was directly asked, which among the following are true about constitutionalism? Again, as I keep on saying, there is no difference between all these papers. It is all about constitutionalism. This constitutionalism is the essence of our polity governance paper. It is the essence of, again, our ethics paper. Tomorrow when you become an administrator, you must ensure constitutionalism. What is that? And similarly, political culture, the topic political culture, a very, very important topic from your ethics point of view. In ethics, this political culture is one of the most important topics. Political culture. Every year the questions are asked. Why? Because as an administrator, you are expected to know about the functioning of our political systems. What kind of party system we have? How political parties function in our country? What are the factors that influence voting behavior in our country? What is the reason why young people are not willing to join politics? These are the questions that we keep on asking. What is the reason why we have so much of criminalization of politics and politicization of crime. If you again look at it, in this year elections, more than 42% of our members of parliament have criminal records against them. Very serious. Why it is happening? Why election commission has been a failure? Again, if you look at it, more than 60,000 crores of rupees were spent on these elections. 60,000 crores of rupees. You can imagine. India being such a poor country, 60. What is the per capita income of India? What is the per capita income? In terms of dollars, it is around $1,750. Right? $1,800 around. And you are spending 60,000 crores of rupees on elections. America, with a per capita income of around $24,000, has spent in the last elections only 45,000 crores. You can imagine the role of money power in our elections. Every year, lots of questions are asked in your polity governance paper as well as our public administration paper and in ethics paper about all these things. UPSC is not really interested in the theoretical aspects. They would like to see whether you have understood in an in-depth manner the functioning of our political system or not. This is what we will be looking at as part of political culture. Very, very important topic for our Indian administration, polity governance as well as ethics papers. Then we will go to the next topic, that is union government and administration. Executive, parliament, judiciary, structure, functions, work processes, recent trends, intragovernmental relations, cabinet secretariat, PMO, central secretariat, ministries and departments, boards and commissions, attached offices and field organizations. Again, all these topics are there in our polity governance paper. In the same manner, they have given the same topics in your polity governance paper also. Basically, we are talking about here the real functioning of our government. When we talk about the government, we talk about the three organs of the state: legislature, executive and judicial. We will be talking about what are the weaknesses in their functioning and what could be done. Then we will go to the next topic, that is state government and administration. State government and administration. Here you will be talking about union, state, administrative, legislative and financial relations. Role of finance commission, governor, chief minister, council of ministers, chief secretary, state secretariat and directorates. Again, all these topics are there in our polity governance paper. For example, this year in our polity governance paper, the question was about 15th Finance Commission. What are the terms of reference and what is the controversy? All this is part of what we call current events. So we definitely require good knowledge of current affairs to tackle all these topics. First we will look at the theoretical aspects, then we will go to the practical aspects related to all these topics. Next, district administration states independence, changing role of the district collector, union state local relations, imperatives of development management and law and order administration, district administration and democratic decentralization. We will study this topic with the two other topics, rural development and urban development also. All three are interrelated. In a district you find both rural areas as well as urban areas. So we will study both these topics. Again, all these three topics are there in our polity governance paper. Changing role of the collector. Once you get into civil services, when you get into IAS, after some point of time, after 4 or 5 years, you will become collector, district collector and district magistrate. That is what the designation is. They will be asking you as part of our syllabus, what is the changing role of the district collector since independence? How the role of the collector has transformed over a period of time. Changing role of district collector. During the British times it was different. Immediately after independence it was different. And especially after the implementation of 73rd and 74th amendments, it has changed. impact of globalization and democratic decentralization. That is what we will be studying. Basically, when we study these topics, you can say that it will be part of your autobiography. As and when you get into services, and after retiring from services, you will be writing about your own experiences. Changing role of district collector. You can see most of the bureaucrats, after they retire from service, they start writing their biographies. Changing role. That is what you will be studying now. Next, rural development and urban development. Again, these two topics, they are there in our polity governance paper. They are there in our paper 1. Urban development is there in our paper 1, General Studies paper 1. If you look at the syllabus, urbanization, problems of urbanization. And they are there in your paper 3, General Studies paper 3, urban development, very important. And of course, they are there in your paper 4. Both these topics are extremely important. All the case studies are about rural and urban development. All the case studies in your ethics paper are about these things. So, in rural development, institutions and agencies since independence, rural development and programs, foci and strategies, decentralization and panchayati raj, 73rd constitutional amendment. Again, as I said, all of them are there in our polity governance paper and in ethics paper also. Urban local development, local governments, municipal governance, main features, structures, finances and problem areas, 74th amendment, global local debate, new localism, development dynamics, politics and administration with special reference to city management. As I said, this topic is there in our 4 papers of General Studies, urban development. And I won't be surprised if it is asked for essay also. Problems of urbanization, urban development, very, very important topic. Next, law and order administration. The next topic is law and order administration. So, when we talk about law and order administration, please remember this topic is there in your General Studies paper 3 as part of internal security. In paper 3 you have internal security is there. That is what you will be studying here. As part of that, you will be looking at British legacy, National Police Commission, investigative agencies, role of central and state agencies including paramilitary forces in maintenance of law and order and counter-insurgency and terrorism, criminalization of politics and administration, public police relations, reforms in police. As I said, all of them are there in your paper 3 General Studies as part of internal security. In all these are internal security problems, terrorism, Naxalism and regionalism, communalism, caste-based violence and cross-border management. And all these are problems which we shall be studying as part of law and order administration. Next, the last topic in our syllabus is significant issues in Indian administration. What are the important issue areas in our Indian administration? First one it says is values in public service. Values in public service is nothing but, as I said, is the essence of our entire ethics paper. Why should civil servants have values? What kind of values they must have? We will be studying about all those values: honesty, integrity, empathy, equity, love and affection. All these values we will be studying as part of this. As I said, this topic is converted into a full paper by UPSC in your General Studies as part of ethics, integrity and aptitude. Values in public services. Next, regulatory commissions. As we have said, this regulatory commissions is there in our paper 1 also, regulatory bodies. Next, NHRC. NHRC was asked in our polity governance paper last year. The same question which was asked in our Indian administration was repeated in polity governance paper, National Human Rights Commission. Problems of administration in coalition regimes. At present, at the central level, we have only a single party rule. For the last 5 years, and we have only single party rule. This topic was included by UPSC in 2008. when they changed the syllabus of public administration, they included this topic, problems of administration in coalition regimes. Why? Because in 2008, 2009, that was the time when we had coalition government at the center and it was facing so many problems. Otherwise, this topic had become now irrelevant. But still, it is relevant, especially from the point of view of state governments. Look at what is happening in Karnataka right now. It seems that in Karnataka, everyone is powerful within the government except the chief minister. Right? Everyone is powerful in Karnataka except the chief minister. Only chief minister does not have any real powers. Otherwise, everyone else had powers. Why? Because how many seats the chief minister has in assembly in Karnataka? Congress party with around 80 seats is supporting the government with around 35 seats. Obviously, Congress party is more powerful. Chief minister does not have any real powers. The government might collapse at any point of time. So that is where again in Rajasthan and in Madhya Pradesh also, the governments are taking the help of smaller parties to stay in power. Next, citizen administration interface. Again, this topic is there in our polity governance paper. What kind of interface is there between citizen and administration? Corruption and administration. I don't have to talk much about this, corruption and administration. If ethics is the positive side of administration, the negative side of administration is corruption. That is the reason why this corruption is there again in our 4 papers of general studies. It is there as part of social issues in paper 1. In governance, it is all about corruption. And in paper 3, again it is about corruption. And entire ethics paper is about either values or corruption. Again, we will be spending a lot of time on corruption and administration. And finally, disaster management. Disaster management. Again, this topic is there in our general studies paper 3. Disaster management. If you look at the syllabus of your general studies paper 3, it has Indian economy, science and technology, internal security and disaster management. This is the syllabus. So these are this is the syllabus of our entire public administration. As you can see, we will be covering a very good portion of your general studies with the entire syllabus. Obviously, it takes time also because it covers a major portion of your entire general studies also. So, moving on, let us look at what is the study material for this. What is the study material? Let us look at the study material. What do we have to study? For paper 1, these are the books. First one is Administrative Thinkers. The name of the book is Administrative Thinkers by Prasad and Prasad. Administrative Thinkers by Prasad and Prasad. Here we will find all the thinkers which we have mentioned, right from Kautilya to Woodrow Wilson to Taylor to Weber to Ricks. Around 20-25 thinkers are there who are part of our syllabus. All the thinkers you can find them. This is the most important book for us, especially for paper 1. Administrative Thinkers by Prasad and Prasad. Next book is New Horizons of Public Administration, HORIZONS, by Mohit Bhattacharya. This is also a very good book for our paper 1. Next, for paper 1, Public Administration Theory and Practice. Public Administration Theory and Practice by Fordia and Fordia. It covers the entire syllabus, this book. These three are for our paper 1. Then for Indian Administration, paper 2. For Indian Administration, paper 2, you can read Indian Administration by Rajni Goyal and Arora. Rajni Goyal and Arora. Indian Public Administration by Rajni Goyal and Arora. You can take the latest version. And then you can also go through this Indian Polity by Lakshmikant. Indian Polity by Lakshmikant, which you will be studying for your general studies. These are the standard books. Apart from this, you must also study so many other things. What are they? First one is the second ERC, Second Administrative Reforms Commission. Second Administrative Reforms Commission. It has submitted 15 reports. All these reports are important from our public administration point of view. All of them are important. 15 reports are there. In fact, this is what I would say all the time. What UPSC has done is that it has taken all these 15 reports and divided them into 4 papers of your general studies. The second ERC reports are the beginning as well as the end of your preparation, of your general studies as well as public administration. For example, there is a report on ethics in governance. This was converted into your ethics paper. There is a report on crisis management, and this topic is there as part of disaster management in paper 3. There is a report on public order and another report on terrorism. Both of them are part of your internal security. There is a report on e-governance. There is a report on RTA. There is a report on rural development. There is a report on urban development. There is a report on civil services reforms. They have taken and they have put them into 4 papers of your general studies. All these 15 reports are very, very important for us. As I said, all of them are important from your general studies. Of course, most importantly, our public administration also. Next, What are the other things? Next one is Niti Aayog reports. When BJP came to power last time in 2014, they have replaced Planning Commission with Niti Aayog. This Niti Aayog regularly comes out with reports, and these reports are very important for us, both for your general studies as well as public administration. Next thing is, for our financial administration and everything else, economic survey. Economic survey and budget. This is important for your Indian economy also. Economic survey and budget. Next important thing is newspapers. Newspapers. You have to read 2 newspapers daily. Hindu and Indian Express. Newspapers, Hindu and Indian Express. Most of it, as I keep on saying, is only current affairs. Most of it is only current affairs. So you have to read Hindu and Indian Express every day. Very, very important. This is what, apart from the regular books, this is what you have to study. Again, you must remember that when you are studying for public administration, you will be preparing for at least 60 to 70% of your GS syllabus. That is what you must remember. That's why you require extensive reading of all these things. So what we will be doing is that in our class, at least initially for at least 1 week or 10 days, what I will be doing is that I will take up Hindu and Indian Express every day, and I will tell you what to read from these newspapers. Very important. You must remember that what is important for this examination is not what to read, it is about what not to read. With so much of material in the market, you are completely unaware about what to read and what not to read. Again, as I keep on saying, your preparation is all about newspapers reading. Every day you must be reading these 2 newspapers, Hindu and Indian Express. And in our class, as I said, towards the end of our class, the last 10 minutes, I will take up these newspapers and I will tell you what to read. At least till you come to know about them for at least a period of 1 week or 10 days. This is what. I will be telling you about these things from your both public administration as well as general studies point of view. And of course, first in our class, first we will be discussing everything. Then I will dictate the notes also. I will dictate the notes also. You can read all the things that I have mentioned here are our class notes. All the books and material which I have mentioned, you can read either all of them or our class notes. It is your choice, whatever you want. Our class notes will be comprehensive, covers everything, almost everything that is needed from examination point of view. And of course, after completing 2-3 topics, we will have question and answers also. In fact, after completing the first chapter, I will ask you to write answers also, because at the end of the day, it is all about answer writing. You must improve your answer writing abilities. That's why we will be focusing on question and answers also. This is how we shall be proceeding with our classes. First I will discuss and then I will dictate them. and from the books also, which whatever the topic I am doing, I will tell you where to read from that book also. You will get study material. Apart from that, you need to have these basic books. Okay. And the second year reports, I will be giving you some of the important synopsis of the second year reports, because each report will be around 300 pages. 15 into 300, 4,500 pages, it becomes difficult for you. Of course, you have to read, you have no option. That is what is preparation. What in the class we will be doing is, I will be giving you the important points from these reports, the synopsis. But I would expect you to read the full reports first and then come to our synopsis. That will give you a better idea about all these things. So this is about all the things, and then you can always ask questions in the class at any point of time. Mostly it can be interactive in nature. You are free to ask any questions at any point of time. Even after the class also, you can ask me questions as and when you have any kind of doubts, right? So this is how we shall be proceeding, and tomorrow onwards we will start the class exactly at 8 o'clock. Today is the first day, that's the reason why it's a little bit late. Otherwise, those who have attended our classes earlier, they know that after 8 o'clock, even a single second also will not be tolerated. You have to be here before 8 o'clock. To succeed in this examination, what is required is a discipline. I can see your commitment in terms of coming to the class. After getting into civil services, after you become IAS or IPS, then you can do whatever you want. Time is not, people will wait for you. If the program is at 10 o'clock, you can go there at 11 o'clock. Because, to show that you are special, let the people wait for you. Here, since you have not reached that position, you have to come a bit early. So this is what, and this is how we will be doing the things in the next 3.5 months or so. If you have any doubts, you can ask. How can? You can contact me, I am here every day. I will give my phone number also, you can always call me. But when you can see me every day, you will get bored of seeing me every day. It doesn't look good if I say that I will get bored of you, so I am saying that. So, otherwise I will give my phone number also. As long as the classes are, on, I will be here every day. You can always clear your doubts in the class. After the end of classes, I will give you my phone number. You can always contact me. Before itself, why do we, because every day you can come and clarify your doubts. If you are not attending the classes now, then you can always take the phone number from office. Yeah. Anything else? Right. See you tomorrow exactly at 8 o'clock. And we will start with the first topic of our syllabus, meaning, nature and scope of public administration tomorrow. You don't have to study anything now. Don't try to study anything at home at this point of time. Why? Because you will not be able to understand anything. Even though it is written in English, the books, it looks like Greek and Latin for you. You cannot understand. So try to temper your enthusiasm for a few days. Don't study anything. Come to the class directly. We will discuss everything. After that, I will tell you to study from the books, but not now. Right? See you tomorrow then. Right.